the LSPL teams in the coming weeks. You have to start showing good games.
They certainly are, and they were able to do that in Game 1 here. Both OMG and LGD putting up a big fight against one another. It was dead even all the way to 40 minutes into that match. And it came down to one final team fight between these two teams, once everyone had 6 items apiece. But we are into Champion Select for game number 2 between LGD and OMG. They have swapped sides. So LGD were on the blue side, OMG heading over to the red side. That's a Diana ban, Raz, coming out from OMG. They also took away the Hecarim, the Rumble. On the side of LGD, they've taken away the Maokai, as well as the LeBlanc and the Malzahar.
I mean, when you face up against LGD, everything kind of gets turned around. LGD do not favor these main meta picks. And so, of course, LGD on blue side, I talked about it last time. Now they banned Malzahar when they're on blue. You don't want to do that, but LGD don't want to play it. Wayless specifically would rather play something random than the Malzahar or the LeBlanc. And so, if you're OMG, you're like, oh, well, I guess they're banning the priority picks for us, and they're probably not going to play Vladimir. Let's just go ahead and ban out their comfort picks.
You can see PYL all smiles there when the Diana ban came out from OMG. And also, the nod of the head from Intruder as soon as Marin locks in the Lee Sin, taking that one away from Dredre again. Dredre for OMG, since he's joined the rosters, had a few standout games on Lee Sin, has played the champion 5 times this split. Or 6 times this split, actually. And Intruder now looking for his 2nd game on Lee Sin for LGD.
Yeah, at this point, you got to believe LGD players, Wayless and PYL especially, just having flashbacks to TBQ. You're like, oh, I mean, at least this was his best champion, so we can see the good sides to Lee Sin.
Tell you what, both these teams are having some flashbacks to TBQ at the moment, especially with Dredre picking it up a few times for OMG here. Whereas OMG, they're now taking away Marin's champion, which is Nah. Marin's played this the most out of any champion in the top lane this split. OMG have not played Nah once in the Summer Split of the LPL. That's a huge takeaway from LGD.
Yeah, takeaway, but at the same time, I'm starting to question this. Sure, you want to take away their comfort champions, but I'm not even too confident in how Xiang plays it, right? Because Nah is one of those champions that you have to be incredibly good at the champion to really make it really worthwhile. Sure, the laning phase is great, but they're not even picking it as a counter to a pick. They're outright just looking to blind pick the Gnar.
And then else can be locking in Kha'Zix as their jungler of choice. LGD on the flip side decided to lock in their bottom lane. PYL will be picking up Thresh again, but this time round, Imp will be playing Jhin on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, so Jhin, Thresh, 2 champions, very strong lane. They're blind picking it, but even if you pick into Jhin Thresh, it's going to be quite a difficult time for OMG to match it, especially since now they're answering and saying, well, you know what, LSMLZ, we'll take away your champion. We'll take the sniper out of your grasp.
And OMG now got to respond with 2 champion picks of their own. They already have their top laner, already have their jungler, so it's the bottom lane and the mid laner, and it's still missing.
I knew this was happening.
Oh my goodness. That is an Urgot that has been locked in on Summoner's Rift, and we're going to get a Taric to boot as well for OMG. What is happening, Raz? Please explain to me what is going on today.
I mean, you talked about the standings not really impacting it so much, so hey, you know what? SMLZ cares about the lane a little bit too much. I talked about Jhin Thresh being strong, but of course if you're an Urgot Taric, it's already hard enough as a Jhin if you're going up against a Taric player. But now he's just going to get punished. That laning phase is going to be really brutal. But it feels like OMG's kind of trolling a little bit.
Well, you never know, Raz. There could still be an Urgot in the mid lane, which we have seen a couple of times in competitive play.
That's true.
Just not recently. And OMG are still holding their final picks. We'll have to see what they decide to pick up here, whereas LGD is still looking for their final 2 picks, which should be the solo laners for the team. That's going to be an Ahri. Wayless is bringing another champion back here today, and we have the possibility, Raz.
Don't do it. Don't lock it in.
He is doing it. No, he's not. Yeah. He's going for the Tahm Kench instead, so it will be a Tahm Kench in the top lane for Marin.
All right, Ahri, Tahm Kench. Ahri, I do like the idea of Ahri, but not as a blind pick mid. So right now, OMG, Icon especially has a pick of a litter of what he can go up against that champion.
You did say, though, Raz, last game, you didn't like the idea of the Diana blind pick mid as well.
I just don't like Wayless's champion pool. What can I say?
I'm a believer of Wayless now. I think he knows something that I don't.
I mean,
he's bringing these new champions in time and time again.
Wayless is just a good player. That's just who he is. If he can get out of the laning phase, it's just fine. Now, he's going up against Kassadin. That's okay. But once Wayless gets out of the lane, that's great. That's fantastic. But their pick and ban have just been pretty bad as a whole for LGD.
We're going to get to see SMLZ play Urgot here in the LPL. This is going to be incredibly fun to watch.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be really good. I think it's still really good for OMG in the laning phase, so if you're an LGD fan, you definitely want them to lane swap that. Jin is not going to have a fantastic time going up against Urgot, and especially if you're Jin going up against Urgot, Kha'Zix, a diving Gnar, and a Kassadin, you're not going to have a good time as a Jin player.
We've even got 5 on Taric just to keep everyone nice and invulnerable for a couple of seconds too.
Yeah, if Imp somehow gets one auto attack, I'm not talking about any of his abilities. If he walks up and auto someone once without dying, I'll give him a golden star.
Well, we're going to be heading into Summoner's Rift in just a bit as an unorthodox Urgot comes out from SMLZ, and let's see if Imp can get his golden star in game number 2 between OMG and LGD. And unfortunately, it seems like SMLZ has broken absolutely everything. He's broken my heart with the Urgot pick. And now we have, unfortunately, a couple of technical difficulties before we head into the second match between OMG and LGD. But yeah, Raz, let's kind of talk about that elephant in the room here. Urgot has been picked on Summoner's Rift. It's been a long time since we've seen him being picked, I think, in any region.
Yeah, so for SMLZ, if there's one person that'll know the weaknesses of Jin, it's going to be SMLZ, right? Because he does play a lot of Jin. He's made a really big name for himself. Jin Thresh has been the OMG bot lane for quite some time, right? They really do favor those picks. And so one major weakness to Jin is mobility. Can't really move a lot, right? So Taric is already a big issue. So now he's going to get locked down, or at least locked on, by Urgot's abilities. And of course, we mentioned it a little bit earlier about the armor penetration that you can build lately. And so if Urgot's going to go for that build, then that works out for him.
It's a historic lane, you could say, Taric and Urgot. Back when Urgot was a competitive AD carry, that's pretty much who you would lane him up with. If not, it was a Soraka back when Soraka gave mana to champions. So this is going to be really fun to watch as well. New Taric, Urgot, who hasn't been changed too much, has a little bit of quality life buffs here and there recently. But we are onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between OMG and LGD. And there is the Battlecast Urgot strolling down to Summoner's Rift. LGD grouped up as 4 and went to the bottom lane in game 1. Looks like they're trying to do something similar here. So they're trying to catch out Icon. PYL flashes for the hook, just casually sidestepped by Icon. He's having none of that, Raz.
Yeah, definitely can see it coming from a mile away. Not going to have it. So Thresh does not have... Not only does Thresh lose flash, but starts with hook. Fairly bad in terms of the level 1 in the lane. You do want to go for Flay. So might even be a little harder for LGD's bottom lane. They do not want to lane against this.
Well, let's see if they do go to initiate a lane swap, because we did see OMG do just that on the blue side last game after a 4-man gank came out from LGD in the bottom lane at level 1 to blow the summoner spells of their Tahm Kench support. But for now, it seems like both teams very content with starting on the bottom side of the map. So both LGD and OMG will be heading into standard lanes for the second match.
See, now this is going to be fun. I do... First, I love the Urgot pick. I don't want him to get stuck in a lane swap. That would be boring. Then you start losing the effectiveness of the pick. So we're going to see where it goes here. Might even get invaded.
OMG do try to start on the Grom camp at level 1 here, but LGD move up with their Thresh and their Jin, trying to stop that one. They do successfully knock them away. JJ is going to be starting on the top side of the map. Starts at red buff, actually, to kick things off, which was warded by LGD, so they know exactly where the Kha'Zix is in this game. Intruder on his Lee Sin decides to start on the blue buff, but here's SMLZ getting locked down by a hook. A good stun will come out from 5, as well as a Thunderlord's proc coming out from PYL. Get some good damage down onto both the AD carries.
Yeah, so a lot of the strength, or just Bottom lane will just be decided by the first few levels, is
Meanwhile,
what it feels like.
Mid lane, Wayless just smacking Icon with auto attacks. It seems like the tides have been turned in this mid lane. It's now Icon with the melee into range matchup.
Yeah, PYL really carried them through. They showed up to the lane rather late, so OMG did have some time to themselves be able to push that out, but PYL looking to hard pressure them out, zone them out completely.
It's in the bottom lane already. Oh, wow. Intruder actually going for this one. JJ a little bit low on mana, a little bit low on health, but just jumps straight on top of the Lee Sin. Goes toe-to-toe, picks up first blood, and the flash away from an Intruder. His invasion didn't quite work out there, Raz.
That's when you can land the pun. You can just say, well, you look to Intrude. Lost his life for it. You don't want to do that. You know your team's not even showing up. Yeah, they show up now. You know, it works out now that you're here. Lee Sin's already dead. Perhaps if they had shoved that lane, if Thresh had shown up a little earlier, you can go for that, but you can't do it alone. You can't out-skirmish a Kha'Zix early, especially with no minions around, obviously. So, really, I would want to say that's miscommunication. I'm just going to say that Intruder thought he had his bot lane with him.
Tried, Raz, but it didn't work out for him. Mycon's still taking a beating in this mid lane, and both mid laners actually taking Ignite on Summoner's Rift here today. Zip almost gets stunned up there by 5, gets a good trade down in return. SMLZ just going to hit him with a lot of Qs there. But so for this lane, it's been dead even between LGD and OMG. Dredger actually looking to see if he can gank off in the mid lane against Wayless, who's been pushing up rather aggressively. Just shifts him over to the other side of the lane instead.
Sweeps him away like a broom. Says, actually, I'm just going to go over here now. But yeah, both lanes, both Ari versus Kassadin. Ari actually beats Kassadin early.
As Wayless gets into melee range of a Kha'Zix. Intruder is nearby, but it really just feels like OMG want to just push up this wave and force LGD to farm at the tower. But that's a flash forward from Icon. Gets the solo kill on towards LGD's mid laner. Intruder will return the kill himself, but that's a big minion wave that Wayless is going to miss out on.
This is when you kind of tilt as a jungler because Icon actually could have survived if he clued Kha'Zix into what he was looking to do. So he just gets the assassination, that's well and fine. Gets zeroed out by Intruder. So sure, he's going to, at the very least, Wayless is going to lose a lot of minions off that. Just a lot of experience, really, because they were pushing out the wave. But it could have been better from OMG.
It certainly could have, but they still trade 1-for-1 in that mid lane, and they do get all the kill. They do get the kill on towards Icon. Wayless was able to hold his flashes. Now Imp in a little bit of trouble. Taking a bit of damage coming out from SMLZ's Urgot. Imp is a little bit ahead in terms of CS, but fairly even bottom lane for now.
Yeah, it's going to be even. The thing about this bottom lane is that Taric and Urgot are going to have a little bit of a weaker early side of this game, especially against Jhin, Thresh, melee versus range and the support matchup, but at the same time, Urgot's not going to be doing too much until he starts stacking up and at the same time getting these long swords that are going to be key for him. So when he does get items, when he does get the levels, especially level 6, he can out-trade and he can just all-in him on Jhin anytime.
He now has that tier, so he's going to be able to stack up quite a bit of mana for himself. Icon going to have to be careful. He's not level 6, and Intruder and PYL going to get gank on towards the Kassadin, instantly bursted down in the mid lane. As a teleport is being channeled from Seong from the top lane. PYL in a little bit of trouble. Dredger is up here as well. Tries to hop on top of the Thresh. A final auto attack that comes out from Seong is going to be enough. Ignite is ticking for the Gnar. Will get taken down. Dredger in trouble too. Flash for Wayless is not going to be enough, as even 5 is joining the fight here, trying to take down Intruder. But all in all, it's a 1-for-1 trade between, no, 2-for-1 trade in favor of LGD.
Yeah, back and forth, all started from that one dive coming on Icon. Icon could not dodge out, did get CC chained and killed. The TP coming in at first I was not a fan, but of course OMG knew that they were going to converge on another kill, try to get something else off of it. They did it, but that just went a back and forth skirmish.
Certainly did. But still, all in all, these two teams are almost dead even in terms of gold. About 300 extra in LGD's favor, but it's 3-3 in terms of kills. And it's another bloodbath here, Raz, even though we have standard lanes this time round.
Yeah, so here's the biggest point. And I'm going to mention this Urgot pick because it is, as you said, kind of a big elephant here in this room, is that it is an early game bully, but of course it kind of feels awkward because you are going that tier build. You are forced to do so. So right now we see the armor pen coming from Jhin. he does a lot more damage now, mostly because Urgot couldn't get the Dirk, mostly because he had to invest in that tier.
Well, SMLZ did start on a longsword instead of a Doran's blade, so he will be able to pick up the serrated Dirk for himself sooner rather than later, and hopefully try and match some of the damage that Jin can be dishing out here on Summoner's Rift. For now, though, both teams just going back and farming in their respective lanes. Both mid laners, no teleports available. Still have their ignites, but no flash. Top laners have both used their teleports in this match already. It's not able to assist with Croft's map play anytime soon. Tom Kench is an obnoxious champion, Raz.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with that champion. Here we go.
Icon, though, looking to try and get PYL down here. The Taric Stun is not going to connect. Ari does connect a charm over the wall to stop the advances of Icon.
Right now, Wayless has been able to see us quite a bit, and he's heading for that Morello Namacon's first item. CDR is very valuable on this champion, able to get herself in and out of situations whenever she feels like, actually control any small tidbit fights that come about.
PYL looking for death sentence now in the bottom lane, not able to connect onto SMLZ 05. Zycon will be able to pick up blue buff for himself, and it seems like he's trying to waddle his way down towards the bottom lane. Intruder's down here as well, trying to defuse any gank potential from OMG.
Wouldn't really call it waddling. He just kind of, he's floating. Feels like that's the wrong way to put it.
Can already see SMLZ being a little bit of a bully, using his Noxious Corrosive Charge as well as the Acid Hunters to chip away at Imp's health there, popping potions whenever he possibly can to heal up against the poke that will come out from Urgot. We'll have a lot more mana now that he has the tiers stacking up nice and early. And he has hit level 6, so ultimate is available to swap someone back into his team. Can already see that Jojo is actually waiting in the wings to see if they can get that assassination potential off onto someone on LGD.
Yeah, but Intruder's here to match up, so you're going to get a good 3v3. Not too sure when. Actually, it feels like OMG is going to back away from it entirely.
Instead, OMG head on towards the Tri-Brush here. 5 actually caught out a little bit. Him taking a lot of damage first. There's the invulnerability coming out. SMLZ not going to take any damage at all. The Acid Hunter's doing so much damage to Imp already. Teleport being popped. Here comes the curtain call. SMLZ taking so much damage out of the range, but Intruder's already taken down. There goes the W from Jin. SMLZ trying to kite back, but there's a Tom Kench coming down here to eat you, and he uses the Tongue Lash to take down the Urgot.
It's not done yet. Wayless is coming in for the attack.
Well, let's see if he gets this, because Icon's going to go back to base first. He lets him recall Raz, you know, gives him a get out of jail free card. And now it might be Intruder the one that's stuck here, because Wayless is still hungry. He's still waiting.
Here we go.
He's going to show up. Jojo now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Will move under the safety of his turret. Gets locked down by the captive audience coming out from Jin. Imp just takes the turret and watches the Kha'Zix die as Intruder uses the Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike to pick up the kill.
Yep, so that was a skirmish if I've ever seen one. LGD do take it. I'm not too sure what OMG is trying to achieve with this composition. Even if they get their skirmish, even if they get the standard lane for bot lane, yeah, that's sure, that works out for you once you get your items. It's going to take a while for you to get your items, and once you find yourself in that 3v3, my god, you are going to get isolated and kicked around. It was a ping ball session here, and so SMLZ did not have very fun time in that fight.
He certainly did not. He looked like he was going to start it off great because he was getting lots of chip damage down towards Imp there, but Imp just retreats to the safety of his turret, pops over the curtain call, is like, I don't need you. I've got this range that I can use to kill everybody instead. Meanwhile, Jojo's going to get caught out here in the bottom lane. Does a lot of damage towards Intruder, but will get taken down. Icon going to try and follow up as both top laners have joined the fight now. Almost Mega Knight coming out from Xiang. 5 is going to be jumping in to help out. Marin will be getting, or be eating up Wayless, I should say, as he has to try and flash away from this one. A very tanky Tom Kench is going to be able to soak up a lot of damage from OMG. Even Urgot is rotating in towards this fight. Xiang's been hooked up. They're taking so long for this one, Raz. SMLZ wants to join, but a good Lantern comes out from PYL and saves LGD. That was a very prolonged engage.
Yeah, Marin is so... That's the thing about Tom Kench, is that you can elongate any fight, any pick. He takes so long to take down, but PYL was able to rotate cross map and save him off the back of it. Nothing really comes from it. And in the meantime, Jin is chipping down the tower.
SMLZ actually getting caught out by the charm coming out from Wayless there. He's going to get taken down now. 5's the one that's in trouble. The hook will land from PYL, and LGD are just styling on OMG at the moment.
I mean, if they didn't style on them, I would really question life right now. OMG's composition is pretty bad, to say the least. And getting out of laning phase, of course you're going to get out of laning phase. Imp is not going to really feel the burn if he can just walk back out of vision and just use Curtain Call.
Well, Intruder's intrusion was not successful there against Dredger, who just takes him down casually in his jungle again. Deja vu on Summoner's Rift, as we've seen the Lee Sin do that a couple of times now this game.
A few times.
And immediately Jojo moves straight over towards LGD's side of the map, trying to take away minions, or camps I should say, wherever he possibly can. Checking with the items that are being picked up, Rod of Ages has been complete for Icon, so Cassidy is well and truly starting to scale now. Wayless, even on CS in the mid lane, does have the Morellonomicon for himself. Both junglers also opting to go for the Warrior's Enchantment nice and early, and both 80 carries are looking to pick up Yomu's Ghostblade as their first item.
Yeah, both of them are just going to go for the outright armor penetration. Perhaps Jin will just... Oh, wait a second.
Marin in trouble on the top side of the map. The red buff is ticking, but he will live to tell the tale. Almost taken down by a gank that came out from Dredger. As now Intruder wants to try and take down blue buff for himself. He is not going to stop with all this pressure as 5 will get locked down. Wayless has been brought to this fight. The invulnerability will pop coming out from 5, but only on towards himself, keeping himself alive. Xiang will get kicked back. The blue buff's very low, but there's a hyperconnect position reserves are coming out from SMLZ, trying to lock down Imp, but Wayless takes him down. There's the courtesy call to slow down the Nah. Has to flash away. Icon's in trouble as well. They even have a teleport flank coming out from Mara in the back lines. The time Kench wants to get in amongst the action. There goes the Voyage, looking to get a flank off out towards them and keep them trapped to the blue side of this jungle. 5's got nowhere to run. Xiang gets jumped on by Intruder. A big Nara will knock the Lee Sin into the wall. Icon has to try and hop his way out of this one, but's been eaten up by a Tom Kench. Wayless will lock him down even further here with a charm to pick up a kill. And LGD, they are relentless in their pressure in the jungle.
They're going hard and they're going fast. And honestly, I come back and I keep making those points. SMLZ gets caught out because he was trying to isolate and kill Imp. But the rest of his team is there. LGD is able to converge. Imp is able to head back, use his Curtain Call, slow down the rest of the team, and then Marin just comes in and cleans it up. That's how you play the team fights, especially if, yeah, sure, Imp is going to have a pretty bad time of walking into auto-attacking. He doesn't need to do that. So it goes back to the point that OMG, bad composition. They're trying to make the best of it, of course, but it's not working out.
Big question though, Rats, is does Imp still get his golden star here? He's not died yet. He has got a couple of auto attacks off. Does he deserve it yet? Not yet.
In laning phase. I want to see him do it in the mid game. I was about to say late game, but there is not going to be a late game.
Well, let's see if LGD can keep that one true here, because OMG is still only 1,000 gold behind LGD at the moment. So they're not out of this one just yet. We finally got to see SMLZ use his ultimate as well on towards Imp, but the rest of the team just collapsed and stopped the Urgot from doing any more damage. I mean, he does get fairly tanky with his shield and with his ultimate, but he's still building a lot of attack damage items, no tanky items coming out from the Urgot.
And that's why Urgot might be the worst champion in the game, because he is a champion that, sure, he's very tanky in the sense that he has a lot, his kit allows him to be a lot more tanky.
Calm down, Raz, we still have Teemo.
Teemo can at least split push. I'm going to put it out there. Teemo can at least build to split push and trap. What can Urgot do? Maybe use his ulti and throw someone into his team, but he's throwing himself into the enemy team just the same. And if the build is to build the glass cannon into armor pen, you don't want to sacrifice yourself.
You can already see in the mid lane, Wayless and Icon trading back and forth. The Rift Wall came out from the Capstan straight on top of the Ahri. Took a lot of damage for it, but trades quite nicely 17 minutes into this match. And this time around, it's going to be LGD to try to start off this dragon. There's a mountain dragon that has spawned here today. They have good control over the dragon pit, so that one should be falling down.
Yeah, it's going to be theirs. Jin's not going to be able to walk up to pressure and push on the wave, but he doesn't need to. He's 10 CS or close to it up on Urgot, and so he's just going to wait until the CS comes his way.
Dagon takes a charm to the face again, as well as a turret shot there. It's a good trade coming out for Wayless, but he's still the one that takes the majority of the damage in that mid lane. He's 5-1-5 on his Ahri at the moment. So he's been having a big impact in this match already. Gold lead is still in favor of LGD, but OMG do have a turret up, which is rather scary, as Intruder now looking to try and collapse on towards Icon, gets the kick flash on towards the caster, and immediately gets hooked up by PYL as well. Teleport has to be cancelled by the top lane Nah, and they're looking for more as they try to chase down Dredger.
Yep, they're trying to get more. LGD probably won't be able to get anything here, but they're not going to stop here. They're going straight bot.
Let's see if they can connect here, because 5 will get the stun down on towards PYL. Intruder, I mean, Dredger will now jump on forward, but there's the box as well as the death sentence to lock down the Kha'Zix. Ultimate being burnt by 5, and suddenly LGD are trying to collapse on towards this bottom lane. Nah has walked all the way down. Dredger is stuck in LGD's jungle. Will get locked down by Wayless for the 6th kill of LGD's mid laner, and they're just moving around the map flawlessly at the moment, Raz.
I mean, it's either they're moving around the map flawlessly or OMG are just kind of walking into places they shouldn't be in. So Dredger finds himself completely behind the enemy team, gets zoned out, completely nullified. Right now, question is, what can OMG do to get back into the game? Perhaps, at first you can think that, yeah, they can maybe split, but you can't split push against Marin right now, who's 1-0-3, going straight armor. So it's going to be pretty bad for Xiang. Won't be able to pressure up in that lane, and they can't team fight whatsoever.
And off of the back of those 2 picks that LGD just got, they've also been able to take down 2 turrets, one in the mid lane, one in the bottom lane. So now OMG no longer have that turret advantage, and suddenly LGD have a massive gold lead for themselves. They're approaching 4,000 gold up ahead of OMG.
It's only going to get larger from here. Perhaps OMG try to upset that pressure by walking and sneaking in Baron, but they can't even do that. Sure, right now it's only 19 minutes into the game, but as the game goes on, they can't even rush it. They don't have the comp to do it. The only one who can really have that sustained damage is Kha'Zix.
One of the moves they're trying to make here is sending Xiang and SMLZ down into the same lane. Tara will be rotating down towards the bottom side of the map, so a very delayed swap of lanes will be coming out from OMG to push down the outer turret in the bottom side of the map. Imp and PYL already on the top side of the map looking to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's a natural thing that they should look towards doing. Trade if you're that far behind, because if you look to match, you will get demolished.
Imp, though, is going to get jumped on by Dredger. He's tanking up the turret. The red buff is ticking. Flash forward comes out for Dredger. Gets the kill, but PYL will slap him in the chains again to return and get the revenge for his AD carry.
Great trade. And now we were talking about trading pressure, trading sides of the map. You take out their AD carry, you're automatically going to be faster.
And still, eventually, that top lane turret does fall down for LGD as Whaler's actually looking to try and assassinate a Kassadin here. The Rift Walk over the walls, trying to get him closer as Whalers is running for the hills, trying to get away from this monster. In fact, it's Intruder and PYL that are closing down. There's the Sonic Wave as well as the Resident Evil Strike. Flash over the wall for Michael, and a flash back from Whalers. Both these two mid laners putting on their fancy juke shoes, and suddenly Xiang has joined the fight. He's almost going mega. The box from PYL locks him down. Suddenly Fire's being caught. They jump onto him. Intruder takes down Icon with the kick to the face. Xiang is mega. Will gnaw him into the wall, but Marin eats him up to keep him alive. Xiang's caught. Will get played backwards. Has to flash in towards the Raptor camp. And Marin's just so tanky. He's just continuing on this fight. Curtain Call's been popped. Drake doesn't take the first shot. Third one lands onto 5. Wayless takes him down, and they're still chasing for more. Xiang will get locked down by the Jin. Suddenly a time catches flanking into the backlines. It's just been long extended team fights, and Intruder goes deep in. Will get locked down by SMLZ, but LGD are the ones that come out on top with 4 kills during that fight, but they're not done yet. Dredger is the next target. Marin eats him, spits him out dead, as that's a delayed ace that comes out from LGD.
20 kills to 8. That was... It keeps going. Keeps going, Fish. It never ends.
I can tell.
The party just never ends. LGD, they smell blood, and if they smell blood, they'll keep going. And so Icon, it really just started with the fact that Icon was trying to get that kill. He had his decision to ult away the moment he saw Thresh and Lee Sin, to back away completely, don't go for that Ahri kill, or ult towards the Ahri. And of course he's going to choose going towards the Ahri, apparently. Goes straight for her. loses, doesn't get the kill at all, and it just starts from there. That's snowball.
Well, calm and collected Wayless knew exactly what to do in that fight, was able to be 2 steps ahead of the Cassidy at all points of that small skirmish around the red buff.
I don't know if that's calm and collected. He shouldn't have picked that fight to begin with. He almost died to the Cassidy because of some random scare. He should not. He's trying to outplay. This is the thing about Wayless. He tries to constantly outplay. No reason to do that.
All right, I'll rephrase myself. Calm and collected for Wayless.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
That makes a little bit more sense here, Rads.
Took the 1v1, not the 1v3. I got you.
But for now, that means that LG do have a nice 5,000 goldie for themselves. Intruder's 7-5-11 on his lead in. He's been having a great game. So is Wayless, who is 8-1-9. We've got the support Jin in the house coming out from Imp. He's 0-1-12 at the moment, waiting for his Dustblade of Drakthar.
Yep, he's 0-1-12, can never really walk into auto, and he simply doesn't have to. In fact, he doesn't have to look. The only thing he can auto really is just the CS. Any waves that come towards him, yeah, I'll auto attack that. Anything else, any fight that start out, I'm just going to sit down.
Well, here comes Wayless, walks in on towards JJ, who hops over the wall, is forced to use his Spirit Rush to run away from the Kazakhs, almost takes him down 100-0.
I mean, Kazakhs is still going to be strong at this point of the game, so you cannot face check these bushes. Don't know how else to put it.
LGD still very firmly in control of this game. They took down the first dragon earlier, which was a mountain dragon. The next dragon that has spawned is another mountain dragon. They look to take it down again.
I mean, the fact that they're even getting these mountain dragons, fairly bad for OMG. LGD can take these neutral objectives whenever possible. Baron is up. It is 24 minutes into this game, so if they want to, they can. They can just simply walk towards that Baron and set down that vision trap.
So it's again, and Dredger actually, he was inside of this Baron pit, realizes the rest of LG are around this area and has to try and sneak his way out.
How did he even get? I mean, I know he just probably jumped in there to clear out vision, but why?
He's on a mission though, Raz. He is being as secretive as he possibly can at the moment, but LGD have other things on their mind, as there's the Curtical coming out from Jin. A flash from PYL is not going to connect the hook onto Siang, but will take a lot of damage in return from the Curtical. Suddenly, there is a Tahm Kench all up in your face, eating up in an invulnerable Nah, as Marin takes a lot of damage in return. Mega Nah is going to be coming out for Siang, but only gets the ultimate on down towards Marin. He pays it for it with his life. JJ looking for the assassination attempt through the back lines of LGD, but that's not going to happen because they just zoned him away from this fight.
They're going straight for Kazakhs. Couldn't get him. They're going to back away, head straight back into their vision trap. They have these pinks. Oh.
They're going for it again. Intruder goes over the wall, looks for the Sonic Wave. The hook was being sought out by PYL as well. Icon is just using his Riftwalk to get away wherever he possibly can. But big ultimates are down for LGD. They take away the red buff to start things off. Intruder will collect that one for himself, take the Dark Passage back to safety. They have a big wave on the top side of the map pushing for them. Bottom lane is also pushing in LGD's favor, so side waves going in their favor.
More than just pushing in their favor. OMG lost a massive wave bot side already to that tower.
Five's in trouble though. Will get flayed back. It's forced to flash over the red buff wall, but will get locked down by the deadly flourish that comes out from Jin.
The fact that OMG didn't head back, send one person back, Siang had teleport, but he didn't. He actually let that wave die to the tower entirely. Now he's back down there, sure, a little bit too late. LGD got a couple picks for it already, and now they're just sitting tight, waiting in this Baron for quite some time until OMG finally starts shoving these waves out.
Exactly what LGD have been doing. They've been maintaining control, vision control over the Baron throughout most of this game so far. Even Whaler sticking around a little bit longer to sweep out that Baron pit one more time. Siang's going to go Mega Nah in the bottom lane, has his Randuin's Omen picked up as well as the Frozen Mallet, but suddenly there's a lot of members from LGD looking towards the mid lane. Icon's being caught out. Kurtzakor lands the first shot. He has to flash away from the range of it. Marin is chasing. The Riftwalk will come out, but there goes Intruder. Gets the kick onto 5, allowing Wayless to get the kill on towards the Cassidy. And LGD are just picking people off across the map.
9, 1, and 10. You heard it. He's legendary. Wayless doing incredibly well, but at this point, this game is a stomp. It is a snowball. You wouldn't expect it. There's only a 5k gold lead at this point in the game.
It is a statement, Raz, coming out from LGD in this match. They look to try and take down Baron for themselves. Dredger will get locked down by a single combo coming out from Wayless. The invulnerability is going to come out from the Tarek nice and early as they look to try and steal this one. But that wears off immediately as LGD just pull back away from the Baron. It's now down to 1,000 health. Dredger is not going to be able to get the steal off as Siyoung tries to go deep into the backlines. SMLZ going to use the hyperkinetic position reversal just to keep us alive a little bit longer. But it's not going to be enough because everybody else has been jumping onto the signature stars of LGD are going to get taken down. And now all that's left is SMLZ and 5, who will get locked down by Jin as well as the Ari and Tom Kanch. Intruder even picks up that kill for himself. Icon's coming back in, uses the Protobelt to get 1 kill. Will get locked down by Wayless, but Rift walks back up. He's going to keep chasing this Ari to the ends of the earth and will get the shutdown onto Wayless.
Stomped on him like a Goomba. A little awkward there, Imp. But that was great for LGD. They lost a lot of players, but they still got that Baron.
Tell you what, though, Icon's not done yet. He's trying to see if he can assassinate anyone else from LGD. Ibn Intruder, though, just used the Baron-empowered recall to head back to base. Still the same goalie that we saw earlier, but now LGD have that Baron buff available.
Yeah, so they finally get it. They may have lost a lot of kills for it, but that's fine. You still have that Baron buff. The gold league does not change. Still at 5k. With how they're playing this game, you're surprised that they even have this small of a gold lead, right? 26 kills to 11. How is it not larger than that? But LGD, they're just taking these fights at any opportunity. They don't care. Sure, they have proper waves, but that's not been their main priority this game. This has been pretty much grouping up as a team.
Certainly has been paying off for them. 26 to 11 in kills at the moment. LGD, they are bloodthirsty. I mean, it hasn't given them the biggest gold lead, but they've got a gold lead nonetheless. About 6,000 gold up ahead of OMG. OMG just fighting to stay alive in this series. LGD were able to take that last game down after a 40-minute extended brawl between the two sides. This game are looking a lot more one-sided, Raz.
Yep, and right now, Wayless is massive. Doesn't even go towards the magic penetration. Doesn't have a void staff. Just goes straight Luden's Echoes into Rabadon's Death Cap. Simply because with Morello's massive amount of AP.
Well, there's a curtain call coming out from Jin, though, looking for Icon. The final crit shot will not connect. Instead, hits Jojo, but Marin's got other things on his mind as he uses the ultimate to get him himself Intruder into the backlines. Kha'Zix will get taken down before the invulnerability comes out from 5, and now the poor old support is trying to run for his life, but it will be able to lock it down with the help of all his teammates, and suddenly only SMLZ and Siyoung are left on the Rift to defend the base for OMG.
It's a stomp, my friends. This game is looking to end fairly soon. I mean, OMG are the comeback kings. They make certain points where teamfights can come back for them in the end, like you saw against Vici, but with this composition, it's very hard to even walk out of your base.
SMLZ gets locked down by PYL's Hook. He's had 2 impressive games on Thresh this series. Imps all the way behind the Nexus, looking to try and take down Siyoung. But finally, the inhibitor will fall in favor of LGD. Dredger's back up and online. Icon's here to party as well. LGD going to try and run. Imp will not get locked down yet. There goes Siyoung. Nas, nobody during that fight. LGD now being a little bit more cautious, waiting for the Assassins to leap forward. Siyoung takes a lot of damage. Marin is still chasing deep underneath the Nexus. Will not get locked down by the stun that comes out from 5. Wayless looking for a charm. Does not connect on towards Icon. And LGD don't get any more kills, but they've broken the base. And suddenly Intruder wants to fight. There goes a teleport. He's in a lot of trouble. The curtain call gets popped by Imp, looking for Dredger, but does get blocked out. Now Siyoung's there with Icon, gets the kill. Hextech Protobelt's not going to be enough to pick that up because Siyoung gets it with the auto attack. Marin pops the Grey House, trying to keep himself alive. Wayless has got into backlines. He's got 1. He's looking for 2, but goes back on towards Icon, who's out of mana. Hyperkinetic position reversal will come out from the Urgot to take down Wayless. This is the bloodbath I've ever seen, Monraz.
Oh, LGD, always trying to do it. They're always going for the final hit on that base. But of course, OMG, comeback kings as they are, regardless of their composition, they can see a poor look in a fight if they ever see one, and they see it, and they catch them. That was a great look from them. But, I mean, if you're Intruder, why are you going for that? He puts himself in a very awkward position trying to get a kick on Kha'Zix. The rest of his team gets pulled in on that action, and they all die from it.
Tell you what, Raz, PYL was threatening with that dark passage. There was no one there to help him, and suddenly OMG realized this. They locked down the Thresh. Poor old PYL gets collapsed on by 3 members of OMG and taken down. He tried to fool them, but he was the fool in that situation, Raz.
Of course he's the fool. What are you doing? You don't have your teammates there. I mean, there's a good... I know he's trying to protect that tower, so he's trying to shove him off alone. Key mind game. Solo queue mind game you get there as a Thresh is if you just, threaten that. But of course, they're just going to commit. They're going to look for that fight.
They're going for another fight here. Marin's actually teleported down here. Dredger tries to run away. Sion stuck inside of the Dragon Pit. Hopscotches over. Intruder to get to safety. There's a Curtain Calls on the back lines. Imp Canceller after one auto attack. As Marin now's the target to be taken down. He uses the Grey Health twice. It's not enough. SMLZ locks Intruder in the pit. He gets kicked back out though to get taken down. Dredger has already got a double. He's going over the wall. Meganar's available. They lock down Imp. The triple comes out for Dredger. Looking for Whalers. He'll take down Icon, but the Kha'Zix is still chasing on towards the Fox. PYL's now in this fight as well. Lands a beautiful hook into a charm for the shutdown coming out from Whalers. Five's nowhere to be seen. He's in his base dealing with minions, but still an absolute disaster from these two teams.
Back and forth, back and forth. You start to lose touch of how many team fights have been happening, or if it's just one massively long team fight. It just does not end, and LGD is not respecting OMG right now. They still have a Kassadin going on to the late game. 33 minutes into the game, yeah, that's a Lichbane Kassadin at the moment. With Proto Belt, he can kill you. On top of that, Kha'Zix will follow just the same. Now, Xiang, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, that's a lot of damage, Fish. Yeah, Ari's doing a lot here. That's the Whaless factor.
I'll tell you what, Raz, he's going to keep bringing out these unique champions. I can tell for LGD. Ari's been one of them. He was the one that brought back Syndra. He brought the Hextech Gunblade Corki into the mid lane as well recently. But he's been doing well on these champions.
Syndra is the only one that's going to stick in the meta because it's the only one that's actually a smart pick. I'm just going to say it. Syndra's the only one that works. The other ones, Ari. Yeah, sure, Ari's a great champion.
PYL, what are you doing there? Gets a hook on towards Icon. Suddenly Intruder's over the wall as well. He has to run away. Curtical will get popped, but Icon flashes out of the range. Invulnerability comes out from the Taric to keep 5 alive. As LZ trying to fight here, but Kha'Zix is dead. 5 is the next target who gets locked down by the Deadly Flourish coming out from Imp. A double kill for Whalers. Does not land the Charmer towards SMLZ. Intruder's in there. Hops the way back out into the Dark Passage to get to safety. LGD are toying with their food, but they do get a crucial pick and will set their eyes towards Baron that has just spawned.
Yeah, the entire game for LGD have just been toying with their food. They are now back looking to get this Baron. OMG's not even going to look to contest this.
That Baron will fall for LGD. There's been 55 kills in this game, Raz. And I have a feeling that we're not done just yet. Baron up LGD now looking to try to push for more structures in this game. There's been as many kills as many minions that 5 has killed in this match, Raz. I don't even know what to say anymore. This has just been an absolute bloodbath. LG and OMG, they know that this match does not affect the table at all, but they have come to Summoner's Rift and they have delivered a fantastic fight so far.
That's one thing that LGD do very well.
But OMG are looking to try and have a say about it. Sion gets kicked back as soon as he tries to go Mega. Locked down by the Death Sentence and eaten up by Marin as well. Spit back out. Will get a big Nara off, but only on towards PYL. Curtain Call's being popped. Lands onto SMLZ. Suddenly in the back line, so Icon looks to assassinate him. He's on top of Imp, but the damage is already done. He might actually go one-to-one. He goes one-on-one. Imp is able to take down an assassin looking to destroy him in the back lines. And the only person left alive is Tretre. The Kha'Zix is not going to be enough to stop the destruction of OMG's base.
Yeah, this game is looking to be over. If the Kassadin cannot take the kill on Jin, then it's looking pretty bad for you.
Oh, Tretre has gone down and takes Grump for himself. That's what he's resorted to here, Raz, because his base is getting obliterated by LGD as they push to end the final series here in the regular split of the LPL. Treacher just watches in awe as his base gets taken down. Imp just runs into the fan and won't even get executed by it. A 60-kill game here, as LGD finish the LPL Summer Split in style.
You either win early or you'll lose hard. The picks coming from Kassadin and just the picks in general for OMG. Not looking good. Definitely, yeah, sure they had fun though. Definitely had.
I can tell they did just that, Raz. I mean, we had an Urgot, we had an Ari in this game. Everyone was dying, left, right, and center. They were not stopping the fights. And LGD pick up the 2-1 victory.
Yeah, I had the feeling of a scrim, but that was their last game of the season. So you better end it off with a bang. That's what it looks like.
And these two teams will see some more LPL action in a couple of weeks, where they will head into the promotion and relegation tournament. So best of luck to both LGD and OMG as they try to fight to retain the rights to come back into the LPL. But big props to both these teams, because once again, they have been shining quite brightly as we approach the later stages of the LPL.
Yeah, so there was a lot of fear about OMG and Sane as well, right? Both teams that there were a lot of questions about their skill, about how they work as a team, and if how LSPL teams will really come back towards them. But they've been doing fairly well for themselves.
They certainly have. LGD also doing really well lately. They had a chance to make it into playoffs. Vici denied that with their win over OMG. OMG, they were the saving grace for LGD. It's not enough. LGD were not able to take down RNG as well, so unfortunately they will not make it into the playoffs. But still, let's go back into that game a little bit more, Raz, because that was a bloodbath. They were both out for blood in both Game 1 and Game number 2. What was going on in this series?
I mean, that's just that's the skill of both teams. LGD want to go for those skirmishes because they're individually talented players. Sometimes I feel like they use it as a bit of a crutch, right? So they can see a better an idea that they should go for. Either go for the Dragon, either go for Baron, and they see the fight, they're going to pick the fight. So it feels like LGD, what they do.
And SMLZ again, you know, proving that he's a unique character. Game 1, Tristana, you know, okay, give it to him that one. He had a little bit of a weird item build, but still, Tristana's okay. We've seen him, you know, it was played by, I believe CLG played it, was in their game that took them to MSI this year. Yeah. A few other people have played it as well. But then Game 2, he decides to say, okay, I'm playing Urgot this game. What happened, Raz? Because we didn't really see too much of Urgot. I believe he died about 8 times in that 60-kill game. What happened to SMLZ? Because that pick did not work at all.
I mean, if there's a time to experiment, that has to be the time, right? Because you're not going to be experimenting when it comes to the LSPL, or at least at the promotion tournament. You're not going to be, well, they tried to experiment on a little bit in the early on in the season, but at this point in the time, it's your last game. You better go off with a bit of a bang. That's just how they want to play that, I guess.
Unfortunately, the bit of the bang for OMG was their base getting absolutely exploded by LGD. Unfortunately, that's not quite the way you really want to be going up, but still, we even saw more experimentation. Wayless picking up Ari and Diana in this game. He's once again bringing these unique champions back into the meta. I mean, we've seen all the champions he's played so far play competitively in the mid lane one year or another. Corki we saw earlier this year. He's fallen out of favor. We saw Ari last year quite frequently, Diana as well. And he brought out the Diana and Ari, and they both looked pretty good for LGD, but still might not be the meta picks they need to get back into the LPL.
Yeah, and that really comes back to the Punished versus Wayless debate, right? I think Punished is growing as a player. Maybe he's not as confident, but he was showing some great games. He was playing Victor. He was playing Rise, right? And so a lot of the focus on the team was towards helping and peeling for Imp, helping and peeling for Marn, or just Marn providing that space. So there was a lot of zoning potential from that team. And now it feels like they have a lot of threats, kind of like old LGD, not a lot of peeling. So it comes back to, can you outplay these team fights?
And Punch was actually looking good for LGD as well, the latter half of the season he played, where he was starting to pick up some champions like Karma into mid lane to go up against Vladimir, pick up crucial wins for LGD. And then LGD, they picked up a new jungler, which was Intruder. He had one off game where he played really well. He picked up an MVP performance on Kha'Zix, and then we didn't see him for some time. And now that he's sitting into the roster a little bit more, Intruder looks really good and meshing in really nicely with LGD.
Exactly. And so I think LGD, they should be looking to grow as they go on to the next split, as they go on into the next season. And growing off of Intruder would be an incredible idea. He's been playing really well from his first game to this point, right? And so while OMG has been trying to nurture their new talent, Intruder is a good point to look towards if you are LGD.
And OMG, like you said, they have been really trying to find their 5-man roster, trying to find how their team works the best. And it seems like they found probably what they are comfortable with heading into promotion relegation. They still have big names on their bench. The likes of Cool are sitting as a substitute for OMG, but they're very comfortable at the moment playing Icon in the mid lane. And they're looking a lot better in the recent parts of the split. What can we expect from them heading into the relegation promotion tournament from OMG?
I mean, OMG, sure, they look to play out those team fights well, right? But in general, lately, they've been playing on their rotations, and they've been doing pretty well.
For now, though, we can take a look at the MVP for LGD in that second match. It's going on over towards Intruder on his 9-7-24 performance on Lee Sin. To be fair, he had a few fantastic highlight kicks here today.
Yeah, so he was trying to showcase that, TBQ is not the best Lee Sin player in that organization's history. It might very well be Intruder. Yeah. Intruder made a lot of plays, showcased that, hey, Dre, that's not your champion either. So I think there's a lot of mechanics on that player, Intruder. And so there's a lot of growth going forward for him.
And there's something about LGD and OMG that involves TBQ somewhere and also the likes of Lee Sin always. There's always a part of the split where they'll be picking up the champion. Seems like Intruder's last game in the regular season of the LPL will be on Lee Sin. He played really well on the champion. Hopefully we could possibly see more of that because he set up some great plays on Lee Sin.
Yeah, he did. And so now it just comes back to LGD's identity and how they want to play out the early games, mid games, late games, right? You can't just play Hecarim forever with Thunderlords and, yeah, look to farm up, but then say, well, now you guys are having vulnerable lanes. You're playing Varus mid or Syndra mid with Rumble top, right? So if you're going to play that style with your lanes being fairly vulnerable, get you on the Lee Sin. I like that.
And we even saw more experimentation coming out from players like Marin up on the top side of the map. He got his Gnar taken away by OMG to start off that track. They took it away from him. We have not seen Siang play it at all this split. In fact, nobody in OMG has played Gnar in the summer split of the LPL, where it's Marin's most played champion. And he picked up Tahm Kench, which was a monster to watch. It seems like he was never ever going to die. He got some great flanks that allowed Intruders to get into the back lines as well. But it's also another champion that LGD have not played this split, so it looks good that they're experimenting with even more picks, especially on the top side of the map.
I mean, it feels like they kind of swapped. They legitimately just swapped identities, right? All of the picks that LGD went for were picks that OMG are very known for. Their players. Yeah, Tahm Kench, he's a tank player. Give him Tahm Kench, that's fine, right? And the same with the bottom lane, where Jhin and Thresh were taken away. And then OMG did the same. They just took away LGD's picks, so I thought they were just having fun there. They legitimately just looked like they picked each other's champions.
Well, I can tell you what, they were actually having fun in that match. There were 60 kills that happened in the third game. But the first game was on a knife's edge, Iraz, because all the way till everyone had 6 items in the game. It was dead even. It came down to one final team fight. And it really felt like once LGD got there, although it was very scrappy, the execution was a lot better than OMG.
Well, not only just execution, but the composition as a whole, right? They're going to get that 5v5. They're going to win that 5v5. It really just came down to the fact that if those 5v5s started, LGD had to really mess up, or OMG just had to get those picks. So one or the other.
So it seems like we have a little bit more time here. What else can we expect from these two teams? Because they know they're heading into promotion relegations. They know that they're going to have to fight their way against the best LSPL teams to get back into the LPL. What can we expect? Are we going to see any upsets coming in? Because there are some quality LSPL teams that are heading into this tournament as well.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be heading straight to... It feels like a bit of like Ghost of Christmas Past, really. If you're going up against Starhorn Royal Club, you're like, oh, wait, they still play with Insec, right? Insec, Korn, Let Me. You'll see these players coming right back, and Duanby and number 17 on Newbie Young. So, of course, LGD knows very well of number 17. He was their top laner a while back. So a lot of old, experienced players. So you cannot just expect that you're going to take them based on experience alone.
And we have 3 teams from the LPL that are confirmed to be heading into the promotion and relegation tournament. First off, it was the 2 teams that you saw here today, which was OMG and LG. We also have Saint that is locked in from the other group. One final team is yet to be decided, which will be decided tomorrow in the match between Newbie and Invictus Gaming. Who do you think, Raz, is going to be heading into this one? Because it's come down to the last game between these 2 teams. It's a miracle that this has happened, but it is now the final game that's going to decide who heads into the promotion and relegation tournament.
See, that's a good one, right? If I were to look at the script right now, it would probably be Newbie have to go up against Newbie Young in the promotion tournament. I just think that IG's playing incredibly well, right? It's all been IG's game. They have been exceeding expectations, and they've been playing a lot better than Newbie has.
But we can check in with the highlights of the 2 teams that just played, then the 2 teams that will be heading into the promotion and relegation tournaments, which will be LGD and OMG. As this was that second game, and every single team fight here, Raz, I was just hoping that Atlas would burst into the room because I was running out of breath as a player caster because these just went on forever.
You couldn't stop. That's true. It just kept happening. Every time I was like, let me try and explain the fight. Just kidding. Another fight's about to start. And so it happened again and again. Every time OMG were like, okay, maybe we can get a pick. Oh, look at this. Like for instance, this looked great for Icon. Icon had an internal debate. Oh god, LGD's running for me. I'm going straight in for the kill. He looks for it, looks to flash in, perhaps get Wayless, gets outplayed a little bit. He's like, all right, I'm in a bad position now. Oh no.
And this is where you tried to explain just that to me, Raz. I had to cut you off because they're going to go fight again, and they did exactly that.
I mean, it's just not going to end. It never will. Intruder showing off his skills there. That's great for him, showing that he can play Lee Sin very well. Xiang, on the other hand, not been getting the best Gnar plays for himself.
Yeah, unfortunately was not able to get in there and get the big Gnar ultimates that we normally see Marin pull off. And you see, we've been talking for so long, Raz. We've jumped to a couple of topics. This teamfight's still going. I was still talking this time. Something was going wrong here. Eventually, we got a Tom Kench moving to the backlines. We got Intruder going underneath a turret as well. It was a 60-kill game. It was an absolute bloodbath between the two teams.
Yeah, I mean, look at, you can act, I feel like this replay is going to go on to the end of the game, right? It's legitimately going to be a 50-minute replay, a 30-minute replay, because it's like, well, guess what? Game didn't end. The fights didn't end. The fight just went on and on and on.
Well, I think the final question that we have here, Raz, is did he get his golden star? Did Imp get it?
Yes, he did.
Okay, so Imp got the golden star in that match between LGD and OMG, but we still have one final game to come up here tonight. In 10 minutes, it'll be RNG taking on Nine Man.